There you go. Now you're on.
You have to say action.
Oh, action.
Podcast 86, 521, April 18th, Thursday.
What's the temperature?
I don't know. Fuck, I don't know. My phone seems to change all the time.
Usually I see it every time you look
70,
at it.
70, and it's pouring rain. Major storm coming in, they say. It's supposed to completely wreck us. Well, maybe you, but not us.
It's not going to wreck me.
Somebody's getting wrecked.
All the water goes downhill from my house.
That's true, huh?
Yeah.
Wait a
The
minute.
road might be flooded, but I'll be
What
fine.
all that fucking...
What?
That giant fucking hill, like, that doesn't come towards you in any way?
Yeah, it just goes...
But it's all growing, so I mean, if we chopped it all, that'd be a mudslide into your house.
It all just goes right on by.
Does it?
Yeah, it doesn't get anywhere near my house.
That's good.
Yeah. The barn, it goes through the barn, but the
Not
house...
bad?
Not bad.
Like, I could see, like, okay, we don't want this anymore. We're going to hog this whole field down, right? I could see that fucking becoming a mudslide at that point. But right now, there's rooted fucking...
It gets fucking muddy up there.
Yeah. But imagine...
Even with the rooted
imagine if there wasn't 4 feet of growth on top of it.
Like, I almost thought I was going to lose my truck up there one time.
You did lose your truck. I saw it. Fucking... You had about an acre's worth of dirt on the truck. I have shit that's going to grow now all through the fucking parking lot.
I have been planting.
Happy Easter. We did that one. 503, how many meanings? 503, service not available. 503, El Salvador's international code for coming at your motherfuckers.
You got it, man.
503, yeah. Fuck, I'd never heard that one.
You got it.
503, someone plants a shit on you. Someone puts shit in your pants when sleeping. 503 can also be a reference in Harry Potter. How can it be a reference to Harry Potter? I'm not sure if it's one of these in the meanings for the 503 on your shirt, but that is what I know 503 can stand for. I've never heard fucking any of them.
Yeah, I've never heard that. I
what's
would really
the U.S.? What's the area code in the United States that's 503?
I would really like your reference for poop in the pants.
Yeah, where'd that
somebody
come
sneaking
from?
poop in their pants.
I don't know why I'm even typing this, considering you just said even if we get it out, if we get it, you still wouldn't tell us. Love the podcast. Keep them coming.
I like the area code for El Salvador, and I like the sneaking poop in people's pants. But it's none of those.
Podcast video 79, Skully. An update on your mom's... Oh, we did that one.
It was successful. She's still just...
Have you heard anything more from her?
No, she's still kind of in bed, but she says 100%, like immediately knew the difference.
Everybody knows that talking over video is called Skyping, right? But it's not anymore. Facebook fucking video is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, I can call you and talk to you, and we can see each other. Or I can just call you and then we can't see each other. We should call your mom and then she can talk to everybody in the building.
No.
Why?
Because, no.
She would like it.
No, she wouldn't.
Yes, she would.
No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't like me putting her on the spot like that.
Your mom asks about me every time she talks to you.
Not every time.
She's like, how's that asshole?
No, I was actually, it's weird when you have an idea. I have an idea of my mom. Even today, even though I know that the idea of my mom is technically incorrect, but I still hold the same idea of, so like, I have never cussed in front of my mom.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've never cussed in front of my mom.
Well, I've done enough for both of us.
I've never cussed in front of my mom. Maybe one slipped out when I got back from boot camp, but I try and keep all that to a minimum. I wouldn't drink in front of my mom. There's a lot of things that I don't do because she's my mom. So introducing her to John, I was a little weary. I didn't know which way it was going to go. I didn't know if my mom was going to be like, that motherfucker's crazy. But she loved it. She loved the and which I should have assumed. I should have assumed that she would have liked the idea of, because made the motherfucking USA. When somebody's a little bit older, you don't know where they're going to go with that. But I should have just automatically assumed that she was going to like that because, she is a child of the 60s. So, I mean, I don't know.
I like Gina's mom, too. I want your mom and Gina's mom to just hang out here. And when people come into the lounge, they're just in there fucking smoking cigars.
That surprised me more than anything is how well my mom and Gina's mom get together. Because my mom is not... There was never any church. So there was never anything to do with church.
Yeah, but
all growing up.
But it
And
wasn't
Nana-
always church. She was a fucking Hell's Angel.
And Nana, well, yeah, that's my mom. Never any church.
Not back when it was a gang.
And Nana, on the other hand, she is like, I drove her car into work past couple of days just to drive it. There are 9 rosaries in that car that I can just see. So she is hardcore. Like every night she prays for 3 hours. When she gets up in the morning, if you walk into the kitchen and pass her room, you'll hear her in there. And like the first couple of times, I was like,
Her eyes are rolled back in her head.
That
ain't praying.
I go, oh, this is it.
She's possessed.
Nana's crazy. And Gina's like, no, she's just in there praying. And then when you listen, you hear her praying. So the two, my mom and Gina's mom, are 100% opposites, but they get along really well.
I saw the video. Love is shit, bro. Corey, love is shit.
Love is shit.
You might be having a bad day. Maybe that's not what he meant. I saw the video on the Smith machine you got. They are great, but you really have to be careful about overusing it. I almost destroyed my shoulder because I just used that for overhead press. Switched to dumbbells, found out my delts were very strong, but my stabilizer muscles were not able to handle the weight. Okay, John Hinden, the Smith machine we have, because the Smith machine you're talking about runs only in one plane. The Smith machine we have, you can actually fuck yourself up with. It will move both your arms equal, but it moves forward and up and down. But I really got it just for my shoulders fucked up. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to somewhat bench press with it. And it's just an awesome fucking piece of equipment. And it holds a lot of fucking plate. And you can use it for a ton of different shit. It's got hooks front and back, inside and outside, so you can squat, deadlift, whatever you want to do off of it. And I've got the limiting bars, so you can, upright row with it. You can do deadlifts. You can set it however you want. Plus, you have safeties in there. So if you really are moving weight and by yourself, they don't come in and find you the next morning, still under that weight. Skully, but thanks for the concern, and you're fucking 1,000,000,000% correct about dumbbells is where it's at. Like when I really fucked my shoulder up, I did not do any straight bar work for press, but I could do some shoulders and stuff because I was able to manipulate my elbows differently. And yeah, 100% right about stabilizer muscles. With that, of course, do core work and floor work and everything else that goes there with it. Skully, what is your thoughts on Chuck Norris being Glock's new spokesperson? People, great podcast, keep them coming. Did you see the picture of Chuck Norris? It almost looked like he was leaning on a fence. Like, hey, look at my butt. It says Jordache. You didn't see that fucking picture? I did not see that
picture, but it was probably his, if he was looking at his butt, it was probably his fancy karate jeans.
Maybe, but it looked like a fucking 1980s Jordache commercial.
Of course you would use Chuck Norris to represent Glock, because Chuck likes to, he likes to bring in those fucking wounded animals and bring them back to life. By the time he's done with Glock, they'll all look like 1911. So it'll be fine. I had Chuck Norris, so I've actually met Chuck Norris. My brother is in whatever martial art. I think is it Taekwondo that he does?
Is it not?
Chuck? I don't know. Whatever Chuck Norris is, maybe karate. Anyways, whatever Chuck Norris is in, he holds these competitions every year in Las Vegas, and my brother is a black belt in that.
Chuck does?
Yeah.
Why don't we snatch him up?
And that discipline. No, I'm not snatching him up.
Let's use the net gun.
I watched that old man knock somebody out without even trying.
Let's net gun him.
It was pretty funny.
Net gun, bro.
That would be funny too. But so my brother's met him a bunch of times.
Electric net gun. You better let it.
That might work. That might work.
You just sit there.
But I
autograph this.
I don't know. He already comes with shit already pre-autographed.
He's all kicks.
Yeah. Oh man. He is all kicks, and he's
got
to be in his 70s now, and he's still.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's still hearing aids in both ears.
Oh, I had no idea.
Still can put his fucking foot over the top of your head. One of my corpsmen thought he actually said something to him about do you still have it, Chuck? You still got it? Because Chuck came out to Iraq and fucking visited with Marines. And
that's cool.
Our sniper platoon, we got a bunch of pictures with him, but one of our corpsmen was like, I don't think you still have it, Chuck. And he's like, you can punch me. Go ahead and punch me. And I was standing there, and he kind of looked at me. Chuck looked at me, and then I'm like, I don't care if you punch him. He's in the Navy. I go, he's in the Navy. I don't care. And I don't even think he tried. He just was like, okay, boom, and fucking hit Doc in. It's funny because this is the same Doc that got tased in Palm Springs by a female police officer, but he got that, hit him right where it was supposed to hit him, and fucking boom, Doc is just down on the ground.
So he tried to hit him he was aiming for the face?
Yeah, he didn't because Doc was like this. I'll bet you can't do it. Like, so he's just
you don't think Chuck was targeting for the shoulder and caught the...
I think Chuck was like...
fucking awesome. Got knocked out by
boom,
Chuck Norris.
I'm fucking gonna knock you out.
Let's hear the... Go ahead. What's the rest?
And so, anyways, we're taking a platoon picture, and I have one of our Mark 11s, and Chuck's standing there, and I go, here, Chuck, hold this fucking Mark 11. And he's like, can I? And I go, yeah, whatever, Chuck. You want to hold it. And so he's holding the Mark 11 in the picture. Well, we got that picture, and I included it with that Mark 11. So that Mark 11, so at that time, all the Mark 11s would stay in country.
Tell them what that is.
It's one of the sniper rifles, the semi-automatic Reed Knight sniper rifle that we were using.
So an SR-25?
Kind of similar to an SR-25. It's exactly... it's different because Crane puts it together.
Okay.
So it's more of a Navy version.
Jet Crane.
It comes with the whole kit, suppressors, all that bullshit. Anyways, we have to turn those over to the next platoon. And so when we turned it over...
Crane makes the SEAL ones, too.
Yes. And that's why they make ours. I
watched some SEALs. We were down by the border somewhere. I want to say it was like San Ysidro or somewhere. We were down, and they have this police range.
Yep,
it's
I know
beautiful.
Exactly
it looks like a fucking
to.
Indoor golf course. And they come trotting up, fucking throw that bitch down, and he's gonna take his shot, and he shoots, and it fucking super loud, like extra loud. His suppressor fucking launched like fucking 25 yards down the line.
Yeah, the original guns had problems. The original guns, so the SEALs were using those.
And theirs was, despite being semi-auto, they had to fucking work the bolt. They had to crack that bitch every time.
The SEALs have been using those, they were using them 10 years before the Marine Corps even thought about using them, so they've kind of worked all the bugs out. But anyways, I included that picture, and you have to do a serial number turnover with the next platoon, and so I'm doing it, and the guy opens the case, and he sees the picture, and he's like, what's up with this? I go, oh, I had to include that. And he goes, why? I go, that's Chuck Norris holding that rifle. And he goes, so what? I go, look, I don't know what happened. I don't know the deal. I'm not superstitious. I go, but after Chuck left, we just started killing all kinds of fools with this rifle. Everywhere this rifle went, there was somebody. And the whole platoon, everybody, by the time I left, the platoon was fighting over who was going to get Chuck Norris's rifle.
If somebody has contact with Chuck Norris, send him a copy of this. Send him this episode.
Yeah, pretty funny.
That's good to go, man. How'd old boy end up getting tased by a fucking female cop?
Drunk and disorderly in Palm Springs.
And so what'd she say?
So, he started talking shit to her, and she rightfully tased him. And so I had just got there right after the tasing. So he is sitting on the curb, handcuffed, and they're doing something else with somebody.
You should have been like, can I tase him?
And I was like, when I got there, I'm like, hey, I'm Stassar, blah, blah, this is my fucking sailor.
So you had to show up to pick him up?
No, we were going to the club, and I'm like, so I introduced myself.
So he was pre-drinking to go drinking.
Yeah, and the cop was like, yeah, he was talking shit to her, and so she tased him. And I go, oh, rightfully so. And he goes, what? I go, yeah, he should have I hope she tased the shit out of him. And Doc is sitting there, like this, and he goes, oh yeah, he got a good one for sure. And then she came over, and she's like, are you fucking blah, blah, his platoon sergeant, blah, giving me the whole riot act about him being drunk and disorderly in the fucking street.
He should have been just like, hold on, one of us will dick you down. It's going to be okay.
I was like, hey, if you want to hit him again, I'm fine with it. And she's like, what? I go, if you want to give him a little more juice, I'm fine with it. If it was that bad, just go ahead. And she was like, she looked at the other guy, and
Like,
then
she thought about it for a second?
She's like, oh no, I'm taking it to me.
Then she started laughing.
And they started laughing.
All right, that's cool, man.
And then they released him to me. Usually, if you can.
How'd the rest of that night go?
Oh, we locked him in the car and went to the club.
Ever since I saw Mel Gibson and the stem cell doctor from Panama on Joe Rogan, I've been looking into it myself. It ain't cheap. Well, fuck you. It's in Panama to start with. They have an office in Sedona, Arizona, I believe. Same doctor, Sedona, Arizona, as well as Texas. But they cannot do the same stem cells in the United States that they're doing in Panama.
Just keep. What I would do if you're not too sure about it, I would keep following Joe Rogan about. He talks about his stem cell stuff, how effective it was or how ineffective it was. So just keep monitoring Joe, because basically you got somebody who has a lot of money that is actually seeking out these things and having these things done and kind of giving a real, like the real lowdown of what it does and what it's not doing. His shoulder is fucking. He says his shoulder is fucking back. Like, I don't want to say he said 100%, but his shoulder is back. The knees, on the other hand, haven't been as successful. He's had the knees done twice. So I would watch Joe, because if anybody goes on Joe Rogan's show and goes, here's the secret, Joe.
Vienna sausage.
Vienna sausages. This will give you 10 more years at the end of your lifespan if you just eat one thing of Vienna sausage every day. Joe will do it for fucking 6 months. He will just be like...
What he's also going to be like, have you tried DMT?
Yeah, but you will have to try DMT.
Where do we get DMT?
That's the trade-off. I have no idea.
Is it like some shit? So like GHB, right?
Mm-hmm.
GHB fucking makes you sleep, but people started fucking making their own GHB. But like there was fucking something like you can, when you look it up on YouTube, they're like, oh, GHB is 3 ingredients. It's in your kitchen. I'm like, well, what the fuck is it? So Chef finds it. He finds all these recipes for GHB. It's something you're like, that can't fucking be right. There is no fucking way it's going to be like that. Like, so where do you get ayahuasca? Do we have to go out of the country for it?
You have to go out of the country for ayahuasca.
Why can't we, just because it's illegal here?
Because there's... Yes, it's
one of these
illegal
fucking
here.
crackheads at Walmart.
Well, I'm sure if you went, I'm sure if you went to Sedona, Arizona, there's somebody that's
Quartzite.
doing ayahuasca.
Have you been to Quartzite? Do you know what Quartzite is? Quartzite's like the world's biggest flea market. So it's fucking miles and miles and miles.
Here in Tennessee or in Sedona?
No, Quartzite, Arizona.
Okay.
On the way to Sedona. So Quartzite, just like we need to go to Round Top, Texas. Round Top, it takes 10 days to see this fucking antique show. It's literally, dude, it's the world's biggest gathering of antique flea market.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Anything. It's like
cool.
Barter Town, right? And then there's one in Springfield in Missouri, maybe, and there's one Ohio has an enormous one, but Quartzite, Arizona is just like, when it's not going on, there's always something there. There's people that just have permanent stands and like live there. And there's fucking, like, if you want to buy any minerals, gems, crystals,
that's the place.
It's all there. Like they have some shit. You're like, how the fuck did they get this here? You know, it's that big, but it's just fucking giant. Somebody there, it'll be like Mega Flea, or what was that place in Kentucky? What was that flea place?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Did we ever talk about that?
I don't know if we did or not.
Holy shit. So we're going to go to Kentucky and go to these antique stores. So we do in Louisville. There's some badass places. More museum. Like the things I wanted to buy from looking at their Instagram when I walked in, I'm like, I'm looking for these 20 things. And they're like, oh, none of those are for sale. I'm like, you motherfuckers. Like the whole reason I'm here. Like giant fiberglass circus heads of clowns. Like Amanda's like, how are we going to get them home? I go, we're not going to get all of them. I just want one of them. They're probably going to be expensive, but I'm going to get one of these. No, the dude that owns the place has collected this shit for 52 years, and none of it's for sale. So on the way back, we're coming back, and it's too late. We've done Friday, Saturday, Sunday up there. We're coming back. It's Sunday, and I see this sign that says antiques. Well, I've come to find out that antiques doesn't mean there's going to be antiques there. You might walk in and there's one antique. It's just an indoor flea market. The building is the antique.
Yeah.
So it's Mega Mega Flea or Super Flea, something. So we walk in, and I see the signs over on. It's a giant fucking building, giant, like 20 of these put together. To the left is the antique signs, and then it's Flea over here. So we walk through and it's weird. Like most antique stores you walk in, they kind of have a flow to them. Not this motherfucker. It's an aisle you walk down, and then you walk back. And then you go down the next aisle, and you walk back. Couldn't just leave an opening where you could S this shit. So we've seen it. There's nothing there. Nothing. Like I try to buy something everywhere I go. There is literally nothing in this place that I want to buy. I'm like, well, we're here already. Let's go see Flea Town.
Flea Town.
Super Flea, Extreme Flea. I don't remember what it was called. So we walk in, and it's set up the same way, but it has a lot of different smells. So we go down the first one, and there's people selling like...
Was there a popcorn machine that had stale popcorn in it?
I don't know if it was stale, but there was a popcorn machine in there. There's a body piercing place, but you're like... who the fuck is getting body pierced here? And then you start looking around and you're like, oh, all these guys got body pierced here. Tattoos. Like if you took, I don't even know how to explain it. Like you can't, without seeing it, man, you cannot understand it. So we get up and it's like booths, like 10 by 10 booths, right? But some of them have counters blocking them so you can't get behind them. Some of them have chain link around them. There's one that looks like, it looks like the dude's business is, I will buy, if you're a crackhead, I will buy any electronics that you have halfway unassembled. Any small motors that have been taken apart and can never possibly run again, I'll buy all that shit from you. Like he had 1,000 pieces of it, just piled like a fucking waterfall of it, like just piled up. So we're walking down, and I hear birds. I'm like, there's a fucking pet shop in here. And we get closer, and I go, you can smell it. There's a fucking pet shop in here. So we walk in, and he has, what did he have? He had some parrots, he had probably some lovebirds, some budgies, some cockatiels, and then he had like all these snakes. He had ball pythons, but he had them in little containers of water, like he's soaking them to get them to shed, when really what's probably happening is he's rehydrating them. Because this place, I think it's only open on the weekends, but they leave all that shit in there all through the week. And it smelled like if you had a cat kennel and you just fucking put all the towels in there and let them pee on it and saved all the pee towels for a couple months, that's what it smelled like. And we go down, there's a tattoo place, there's people selling like airbrush shirts. We could have done a cartoon character of you. It's like going to the swap meet, but not the swap meet at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego or the sports arena. It's like going to the one on the border. It's like an indoor bazaar in Tijuana, but with dude, it is the dude, if you took the most trailer park trash out of the park, now to be fair, I only went down 3 aisles. There was at least 20 more. We didn't make it past that.
I bet there was somebody in there selling organs.
I can't selling what? Organs. There are definitely harvesting organs. I'm pretty sure there's got to be a place in there where you can get your dick sucked. Like it has the glory hole. I want to see their version of it. I want to see that. Like I came back. I'm like, Jeff, dude, we got to take all the boys and go here. That's the only way to safely go in there. It literally is like Mad Max's Barter Town. It is fucking crazy. I go, we have to go just so you can see how crazy this is. Because when I tell the story, you're not gonna believe it. It's fucking crazy.
I love it.
Awesome podcast, guys. Keep up the good work. Thanks for giving some positive guidelines. Thanks for helping me keep dragging these chains that we call life. You guys give a better outlook on something that had become null and void. What do you guys think about these participation awards that they give little fucking losers in school? To me, all this does is make them think that you don't need to push to be better, that there is no reason to be better. That's part of the problem. Jack Spirko's show, The Survival Podcast, today's episode, as a matter of fact, he said he hit me up and said, hey, I mentioned you in this podcast. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but the first 15 minutes in is all about exactly what you just asked about. So if you don't know him, go listen to him. Well worth listening to anyways. I listen to him every day. Jack Spirko's a friend. He is a big catalyst of why we left California. prepping and stuff, but he was also kind of the trigger that got me back into, living and not just fucking hoarding shit away and waiting for the end. Just listen to him. But that is the problem. Fucking teach your kids, man. I mean, what do you got?
Well, your kids have to know that that there are winners and losers in life. No matter what it is, there are winners and losers in life. And if you apply yourself harder, you can become a winner. And that's giving out fucking trophies to everybody is just saying that we're all equal. And it's kind of, it's what the Democrats are trying to tell. And there's no such thing as people on an equal footing. There's never been people on an equal footing. People are going to have an advantage in certain things. It's kind of like all this bullshit right now with transgender men competing in all-female events. It's bullshit. It is fucking total bullshit. But they want to be.
You were a mediocre dude, so
Yeah.
you went and beat up some girls.
But they want to all be inclusive, but it's bullshit because it's changing what it means to be a woman. If for example, the national track guy that are transgender, they're breaking all the records, right? So you have these men who are going in there as transgenders, and they're breaking all the female records.
When they couldn't do shit when they were a dude.
They're breaking the female records. What does that do? What does that do for little girls? What does that do for little girls that want to be successful in that venue? They now have a record that is unobtainable. I mean, it's not 100% unobtainable, but it's not a record set by another woman. So giving out free trophies it's just trying to. What they're trying to do is a social experiment in the sense of telling everybody that we're equal, but there is nowhere in life, and that's why all these kids are having a hard time when they're getting out of school. There's nowhere in life where anyone is on an equal footing. So you should be aware of the fact that you have to try hard. And then the other thing is the kid that tries hard. So what if you have a kid that is fucking exceptional, and he tries hard, and he wants to be better, but every time he does anything, that fucking schlub over in the corner who doesn't fucking get out on the field at all, who just sits there and eats popcorn all goddamn day, gets the same trophy he does? So why would I try harder? If we're all equal, there's no reason for me to put forth the effort to be more successful. It's a fucking crock of shit.
Listen to Spirit Coast show today, man. There's some real good shit in there. Love the podcast. Have you or Skully read Unintended Consequences? I have it, and I've read like 2 chapters of it. I fall asleep when I read. The only time I ever fucking go to read is like when I'm in bed, and I immediately fall asleep. It takes me a year to read a book. I have looked for that book fucking for years on audio tape. How in the fuck is that book not on fucking audiobooks? Jaeger bought 100 of them and donated them to the fucking schools here, put them in the libraries and shit.
That means we can go to the library and borrow one.
I've got one. We should actually probably buy them and sell them on the website. He found somebody that published them for him. Because it was out of print for a long time. Like when I went to look for one, I want to say it was like $300 listed on Amazon and eBay. I have never trusted the federal government, but Unintended Consequences has destroyed my trust for local sheriff would stand up to the feds. As LEO myself, I will not allow the feds to slaughter people in my city if I can help it.
There's actually a bunch of sheriffs. There are a bunch of sheriffs that are behind enemy lines that have publicly came out and said, I'm not enforcing that law. Fuck you. That law is against the Constitution, and I'm not enforcing that law. So there's a lot of sheriffs out there that when you think about it, they're actually putting their money where their mouth is if they're coming out and saying, I swore an oath to defend the Constitution, and this is against the Constitution, so fuck you. I'm not going to go after people because they have a fucking magazine that has more bullets than you accept, or whatever the case. But there is a lot of sheriffs out there that are fucking standing too.
If you like that book, look up Unintended Consequences by Matthew Bracken, SEAL Intel Officer. Was written, I want to say, late 90s. And there's 3, if not 4 of them now. Unintended Enemies, Foreign and Domestic. And then there is foreign enemies, and then there's domestic enemies. The third one takes place in Middle Tennessee, right here. You read the first one, and as you're reading it, you'll be like, holy shit, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. It's funny that he wrote that over a decade ago, and all that shit has come to, it's like a fucking playbook. You guys should check that out. The books are available on Amazon. They are also available on Audible or audiobooks or whatever method you use. So check those out. It's worth listening to. Another quality production. John, I had a thought rolling around in my frazzled skull ever since I watched your tree planting video. Now, maybe I missed something along the lines, but why don't you have a Skully Pepsi series? I mean, for daily carry, we could have 16-ounce holsters. For larger missions, you could have a chest rig. Now, this series will also accommodate 16-ounce cans. Do they make 16-ounce cans of
I think
Pepsi?
they do. I think it's kind of a...
Just think, John, people walking around with your chest rig, a 16-ounce belt or lower thigh holster. You call it a Talladega rig. I guess that's probably a 16-ounce bottle right there.
Yeah, these are small ones.
We're actually going to do a Capri Sun pouch. So you can put your Capri Sun in there, and then you can cover it up and get the straw right through the little grommet right there. That's actually, that's no bullshit. I like it.
Capri Sun pouch.
Capri Sun pouch. What's it? Capri?
Capri. I think you did say Capri.
Call 'em?
Capri Suns. Capri Suns.
Hey guys, been a customer for a couple years. Love the podcast. Girlfriend got diagnosed with stage 1 cervical cancer at age 24 after not going to a gyno for over a year. She had the surgery to remove a piece of her cervix and is well on her way to recovery and now cancer free, just not back to 100% yet. Got her the International Women's Day bag for being such a trooper and now carrying it daily as a purse. She was extremely happy to have a piece of gear from the company I love so much and an excellent spirit and has a new lease on life. Thanks for the podcast. It really kept my spirits high during this difficult time. Keep it up, guys. Right on, man. I'm glad to hear she's doing better.
She hates that bag, by the way.
Right.
She just loves you.
That's it.
That's
She
it.
just
She
loves
just loves you. That's
it's
why
important because it's from you.
Yeah, it's important because it's from you, and you talk about it all the time. So she's like, "Okay, I'll use this thing for a while,
So,
and then maybe he'll get me a what do all the ladies love? Coach,
Coach.
Coachy?
Nah, Coach is like,
Coach is old school.
that's what you get your chick when you walk in there and you're like, Louis Vuitton's $4,000.
What is it? Michael Kors? Is
Michael,
that,
that's even
even lower?
Yeah.
Mm.
Tory Burch, that's another one.
Tory Burch, I've never heard of it.
She'll tell you that one's okay, but what she really wants is Louis Vuitton or Prada or Louboutin, Christian Louboutin. You can jump right into Christian Louboutin, but you really have nowhere to go from there. That or a Birkin bag, Hermes, she would like that also. Inflammation, like you have to fucking cut the sugar, you have to cut the carbs. Cancer, that's the big thing. Like the common denominator, no matter what these dudes, every video you watch on I cured my cancer or I have a cure for cancer or they covered up the cure for cancer, every video you watch, no matter what their direction they're running with it, every one of them is cut sugar. Every fucking one of them is cut sugar. Glad she's doing better for sure. Great podcast, guys. Just to weigh in on the use of animals for the military. Some people may not know that the Army mascot is a mule. Bred between donkeys and horses, combining the best traits of each animal. And they're sterile, right?
Yes.
Mules are sterile. Faster than a donkey, more sure-footed than a horse. I've seen YouTube videos of robotic mules being made to carry supplies for troops in the mountains. Keep up the great content. We mentioned that yesterday. As a matter of fact.
Mentioned that yesterday. The Marine Corps is the only service that still uses them actively for training. In a sense, when you go to Bridgeport, California, to do your cold weather training, they actually pack mule supplies up and shit like that. And they still, like I said, I have a Marine that was a farrier, which is a guy who takes care of their hooves and shit.
What do they call the guy that runs the ferry?
I don't know. The farrier. So I mean, they're still in the inventory, kind of I found it very weird when he came down and said, I went to farrier school. I'm like, shut the fuck up. What the hell is that? But they actually taught him how to take care of those animals up at Bridgeport. So,
Had to go be Amish for a year.
yeah.
Do you want to do a shirt that says best clock ever, and it's actually a picture of a 1911?
Oh, man, I would love that shirt.
Do you want to put best 1911 ever and have a Glock on the back of it?
No. Uh-uh.
You want them two separate shirts? You don't want the same
Yeah,
shirt?
that would have to be the same, different shirt.
Skully and John, keep this coming. Skully, have you ever done an SBR recently? Have you done an SBR recently? I have my first suppressor in ATF prison. Been a year already. I want to SBR a P90 and suppress it. I will be getting a P90 rifle and wait for the stamp. That way I can have it while the ATF fucks off and makes me wait.
Yeah, I have not done any SBRs. I kind of want to do the same thing. I want to I have a P90. I want to drop it down to, the little fucking teeny little barrel out of the front of it. I want to do the same thing with the SP89.
You can just buy, once you have it, you can legally just buy a barrel that's
right?
You don't have to have it machined or nothing.
So if you already have the firearm, if I already have the firearm that I want to fucking SBR, you hold on to said firearm, and then when ATF comes back with your stamp, then you
I guess what I'm asking is there is a readily available barrel already.
Yes, yeah. There's a readily available barrel for it already. Most companies now, there are a bunch of companies now that are actually making, like, SBR gun is in their list. So if you wanted a P90, you could go to FN, and FN has a semi-automatic SBR rifle that you could buy off the shelf. The problem is, like you said, while you're in ATF jail, that rifle sits at the dealer.
Right,
whereas
at least has the short barrel.
At least if you have a 16-inch, if you have a legal gun, you can shoot it, and then you can change the barrel out. The barrel change on a P90 is a little weird. You have to drill that front pin out to get that fucking shroud off there. It's a little weird, but yeah, I got a bunch that I want to do, but it's one of those things. I have a suppressor, right? I have two suppressors that are in ATF hell, and they've been there for nine months now. So
maybe you should go ask, because that's the last time you thought that. He's like, hey, this has been cleared for 6 months.
They actually teased me. The first one, the first one I did, they had it done in 5 months, and I didn't go. Because he's like, oh, well, it'll be 6 months. And I went at 6 months, and he's like, we've been trying to get a hold of you, blah, blah, blah. Well, I've called. So this one I did at Royal Range. And every time I call Royal Range, they're like, did we call you? No, we didn't call you. So fuck off. Click. So
I think we know some people over there if you want to contact.
No, I mean, it is what it is.
You want me to have a guy from Royal Range call you every week and tell you that it's not there yet?
I don't need that. What I do need is, if you work at the ATF and you enter that paperwork in the thing, if you could just, slide a couple of those to the top, or just move it, because you've already cashed my check, guys. You've already spent that money. I'm sure it was just pizza and beer, but you've already spent that money, so let's just have it. The real thing that fucked us, or that anybody that's buying a suppressor, it was, who's the suppressor company in Utah? It is...
Shimtech?
No.
AAC?
Like, it's their...
Anyways,
the suppressor company in Utah, they're the ones that fucked you all, because they did that sale where if you buy one suppressor, you get one for free. And everybody bought those suppressors. So we have this big spike in people who bought suppressors. And so the ATF is just like, fuck, man, that's a lot of paperwork. You guys want to go get a beer? Let's go get a beer. And they're just doing like 2 papers a day or something.
So we have a dude working for us. Brother finds out that he's working for us. Hits him up. He's like, hey, so you're working for John Willis? He's like, yeah. He's like, that's cool. He goes, your aunt is losing her shit over it. It's like, what are you talking about? The whole family is fucking just liberal as can be. So he sees Aunt, talks to Aunt, somehow gets in touch with Aunt and his mom, and they're like, so you're out there with that racist cult? He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Apparently, we actually are listed with Southern Poverty Law Center as a fucking
We have to
racist
look that
group.
up because that's fucking ridiculous. You should be able to sue them for defamation.
Ask him about it. There's apparently like it's because he didn't hear us talk about it, and we were talking about it. Skully and John, keep this coming. Being a professional gamer is very hard. They work 100+ hours a week. That's not work. The games aren't fun anymore, and only like a billionth of a percent of people make money on it. Well, that's because it's not fucking real anymore. It's not fucking something. John and Skully, what kind of we know some retards that are like, oh yeah, professional gamers.
Gamer.
When I used to professional game. Well, how come you don't fucking have anything, and how come you're not a fucking professional gamer? I am so fucking fed up with motherfuckers telling me shit, how they used to do shit, and how shit used to be, and how they can do things. But when it comes time to fucking do them, they can't fucking do any of them. Like, they can't even begin to fucking do them. Like, if you're a computer dude, you should know what basic fucking everyday computer fucking things mean. Like, I don't know what the fuck it was. I mean, just
you gotta know.
You're a guy, if you're so fucking awesome, and that's not you, Kentucky Rifleman, but if you're a fucking gamer, don't fucking walk in here and ask me for a job and tell me what an awesome fucking gamer you are. Go fucking game. If you even have a video console and you spend any of your free time video consoling, don't come in here and ask me for a fucking job. John and Skully, what kind of free toys would you put in specially marked cereal boxes? Pocket knife.
Pocket knife, yeah. I'm a big fan of like
SOE decoder ring.
SOE decoder ring, maybe a compass.
Ovaltine. Matches.
Matches.
Strike anywhere matches.
Real strike anywhere
Red
matches.
and white tip, not that bullshit green tip.
Yeah, some basic good survival stuff. A hatchet so they could go out and chop wood.
I like that.
That would have.
cereal.
That's like the big boxes.
You got to collect all 5 boxes to get the hatchet.
To get the hatchet, yeah.
Skully, where's the best place to buy a real Strider knife?
From Strider Knives.
Or Blue Line Gear, or Monkey Edge.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with Blue Line, Ryan Johnson, or Monkey Edge.
Brady
Miller. You can't go wrong with either of those two. They're going to get you. You're going to be. Well, first off, they're going to have the newest shit, and second,
they're going to have real shit.
It's going to be it'll definitely be 100% real, and your price point is going to be at that market. You're not going to snoop around and find a fucking mixed Strider Damascus knife from cheaper anywhere else on the internet. So they're at the price point. So, and if anything, other good thing
they are. If Strider had master dealers,
they are.
That's them.
And the good thing about both Brady and Ryan is if something, you're out in the woods fucking changing a tire with your pocket knife, and the clip flies off into the woods, they will get that handled for you. So
they're both good dudes.
Yeah, they're both good dudes.
We have personally done business with them. Brady has got some stuff for me that was completely unobtainable. They've carried our products as well as we have done business with both of them. And fuck, Ryan is set up at fucking Blade Show with those. Well, he's set up at most of the shows with those guys. Invest in guns. They will always hold their value and increase. I have gotten some good deals on Arms List. I got a pre-brand 20-inch A2 Colt from a kid whose grandpa passed. I traded him an Anderson AR-15 with eBay shit bolted on it for $200 cash. That rifle is worth $1,500.
Yeah, prices don't go down unless they ban them. So once they ban them, then your street value.
Damn you, John. Damn you! Just got to the point where I don't want anything else. You go and show me Katanica. Just got a pair of Cargoids, and I love them.
Cargoids? What the fuck are
Cargoids?
What are Cargoids?
You just bought the beginner shit. Get the fucking range shorts. Bought Cargoids. That's like you wanted a fucking 4-wheel drive Toyota truck, so you just went and bought a fucking Prius. Actually, I bought a pair of Cargoids. They look like Officer Dangle. Like,
they're a little short.
I want my shorts right at my kneecap, right? Those are about 4 inches higher. They look like Ranger Dave would wear.
Ranger Dave, yeah.
They are perfect EDC and have very low tactical profile. They could pass as semi-dressy or just everyday wear. There's no goddamn thing as a fucking dress short. You don't see dress shorts.
And there's no such thing as tactical shorts.
That's like if your bitch is wearing a romper, you need to intervene. Your bitch shouldn't be wearing overalls unless she's painting or doing drywall. And the bitch should not be wearing a fucking romper. You can't even get to her fucking pussy in a romper. What the fuck? That's what your dress shorts are. Now that brings us to the rain short. Jesus H. Christ. It's H. Jesus H. Not age. Jesus H. Christ. What does the H stand for? Hector?
I think so.
Jesus Hector Christ. Are those things kick ass or what? I plan to buy a pair when they release the runs of the gnarly camo pattern. They're on there right now. You should have saved your money. Between SOE and Katanica, looks like my discretionary income is gone. Damn it, shit, fuck. It's not supposed to feel this good to give money to other people. Keep rocking, guys. Appreciate the podcast.
You can't take any of that money with you.
Dude, thanks for choosing SOE. You will love the Katanica stuff for sure. Our belts fit in. Don't buy their bullshit belt. All of our belts fucking stomp their belt. We're not making shorts. Katanica's got nothing to worry about. We push them out. But Katanica should stop making fucking belts. Greg Roy. True facts from Vermont. In 1981, Bertie Sanders was elected the communist mayor of Burlington, Vermont. It was won by under 100 votes. It was won by under 100 votes from the welfare mamas that were bussed in from Brooklyn, New York. They were given bus tickets by social workers and promised eternal food stamps and free housing in Vermont. Now they have been breeding steadily for over 40 years and still vote Bernie for free stuff. Tacos and fries.
He's an actual communist, like card carrying. Like for his birthday, he sang a Russian a Russian workers song. I mean, you know, I grew up in the 80s, and the whole mantra was "kill a commie for mommy." It's going to be interesting if he actually becomes the Democratic nominee. I think the Democrats are going to go after his ass though, because he's a little too crazy.
How do you motherfuckers come up with these fucking YouTube names? Tacos and French fries. Good stuff. I agree. You have to have a backup plan. By the way, I have had an SOE belt for about 3 years now. No issue. Great product. Thanks. Tacos and French fries. You keep eating tacos and French fries, you're going to outgrow that belt. Good news. $25. You send that belt in with $25, and we cut it apart and make it fatter for you. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Because maybe you've hit it. Maybe
he's on reverse keto.
Maybe if you just eat tacos and French fries, you'll lose weight.
Well, like you won't live long enough to gain weight. Skully, can you share a few stories from back in the Marines where you had a what the fuck moment? I like to drink at the Legion and talk about old vets. They have the best stories.
I mean, we had all kind. I've told a ton of them on these videos. It's just, I give you old Sergeant Major. I haven't told this one in a long time. Sergeant Major Booker story. So this is boot camp. So we're in boot camp, and there's a point where you leave. There's a point where you leave. At least the old way. I think it's changed since then. But you would leave Camp Pendleton, and you would go up to SOI for like combat training.
School of Infantry.
She hates that bag, by the way.
Right.
She just loves you.
That's it.
That's it. She just loves you. That's
it's important because it's from you.
Yeah, it's important because it's from you, and you talk about it all the time. So she's like, "Okay, I'll use this thing for a while."
So,
and then maybe he'll get me a what do all the ladies love? Coach.
Coachy. Nah, Coach is like.
Coach is old school.
That's what you get your chick when you walk in there and you're like, Louis Vuitton's $4,000.
What is it? Michael Kors?
That's even
lower.
Yeah. Mm. Tory Burch, that's another one.
Tory Burch, I've never heard of it.
She'll tell you that one's okay, but what she really wants is Louis Vuitton, or Prada, or Louboutin, Christian Louboutin. You can jump right into Christian Louboutin, but you really have nowhere to go from there. That or a Birkin bag, Hermes, she would like that also. Inflammation, like you have to fucking cut the sugar, you have to cut the carbs. Cancer, that's the big thing. Like the common denominator, no matter what these dudes Every video you watch on I cured my cancer, or I have a cure for cancer, or they covered up the cure for cancer, every video you watch, no matter what their direction they're running with it, every one of them is cut sugar. Every fucking one of them is cut sugar. Glad she's doing better for sure. Great podcast, guys. Just to weigh in on the use of animals for the military. Some people may not know that the Army mascot is a mule. Bred between donkeys and horses, combining the best traits of each animal. And they're sterile, right?
Yes.
Mules are sterile. Faster than a donkey, more sure-footed than a horse. I've seen YouTube videos of robotic mules being made to carry supplies for troops in the mountains. Keep up the great content. We mentioned that yesterday. As a matter of fact.
Mentioned that yesterday. The Marine Corps is the only service that still uses them actively for training. In a sense, when you go to Bridgeport, California, to do your cold weather training, they actually pack mule supplies up and shit like that, and they still like I said, I have a Marine that was a farrier, which is a guy who takes care of their hooves and shit.
What do they call the guy that runs the ferry?
I don't know. The farrier. So I mean, they're still in the inventory. Kind of. I found it very weird when he came down and said, I went to farrier school. I'm like, shut the fuck up. What the hell is that? But they actually taught him how to take care of those animals up at Bridgeport. So
had to go be Amish for a year.
Yep.
Do you want to do a shirt that says best clock ever, and it's actually a picture of a 1911?
Oh man, I would love that shirt.
Do you want to put best 1911 ever and have a Glock on the back of it?
No.
You want them two separate shirts? You don't want the same shirt?
Yeah, that would have to be the same, different shirt.
Skully and John, keep this coming. Skully, have you ever done an SBR recently? I have my first suppressor in ATF prison. Been a year already. I want to SBR a P90 and suppress it. I will be getting a P90 rifle and wait for the stamp. That way I can have it while the ATF fucks off and makes me wait.
Yeah, I have not done any SBRs. I kind of want to do the same thing. I want to I have a P90. I want to drop it down to the little fucking teeny little barrel out of the front of it. I want to do the same thing with the SP89.
You can just buy, once you have it, you can legally just buy a barrel that's right? You don't have to have it machined or nothing.
So if you already have the firearm, if I already have the firearm that I want to fucking SBR, you hold on to said firearm, and then when ATF comes back with your stamp, then you
I guess what I'm asking is there is a readily available barrel already.
Yes, yeah. There's a readily available barrel for it already. Most companies now, there are a bunch of companies now that are actually making, like, SBR gun is in their list. So if you wanted a P90, you could go to FN, and FN has a semi-automatic SBR rifle that you could buy off the shelf. The problem is, like you said, while you're in ATF jail, that rifle sits at the dealer.
Right,
whereas
at least has the short barrel.
At least if you have a 16-inch, if you have a legal gun, you can shoot it, and then you can change the barrel out. The barrel change on a P90 is a little weird. You have to drill that front pin out to get that fucking shroud off there. It's a little weird, but yeah, I got a bunch that I want to do, but it's one of those things. I have a suppressor, right? I have two suppressors that are in ATF hell, and they've been there for 9 months now. So
maybe you should go ask, because that's the last time you thought that. He's like, hey, this has been cleared for 6 months.
They actually teased me. The first one, the first one I did, they had it done in 5 months, and I didn't go. Because he's like, oh, well, it'll be 6 months. And I went at 6 months, and he's like, we've been trying to get a hold of you, blah, blah, blah. Well, I've called. So this one I did at Royal Range. And every time I call Royal Range, they're like, did we call you? No, we didn't call you. So fuck off. Click. So
I think we know some people over there if you want to contact.
No, I mean, it is what it is.
You want me to have a guy from Royal Range call you every week and tell you that it's not there yet?
I don't need that. What I do need is, if you work at the ATF and you enter that paperwork in the thing, if you could just, slide a couple of those to the top, or just move it, because you've already cashed my check, guys. You've already spent that money. I'm sure it was just pizza and beer, but you've already spent that money, so let's just have it. The real thing that fucked us, or that anybody that's buying a suppressor, it was Who's the suppressor company in Utah? It is.
Shimtech?
No.
AAC?
Like, it's their.
Anyways.
Yeah, anyways, the suppressor company in Utah, they're the ones that fucked you all because they did that sale where if you buy one suppressor, you get one for free. And everybody bought those suppressors. So we have this big spike in people who bought suppressors. And so the ATF is just like, fuck, man, that's a lot of paperwork. You guys want to go get a beer? Let's go get a beer. And they're just doing like 2 papers a day or something.
So we have a dude working for us. Brother finds out that he's working for us. Hits him up. He's like, hey, so you're working for John Willis? He's like, yeah. He's like, that's cool. He goes, your aunt is losing her shit over it. It's like, what are you talking about? The whole family is fucking just liberal as can be. So he sees Aunt, talks to Aunt, somehow gets in touch with Aunt and his mom, and they're like, so you're out there with that racist cult? He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Apparently we actually are listed with Southern Poverty Law Center as a fucking
We have
racist
to look that
group.
up because that's fucking ridiculous. You should be able to sue them for defamation.
Ask him about it. There's apparently, like, it's because he didn't hear us talk about it, and we were talking about it. Skully and John, keep this coming. Being a professional gamer is very hard. They work 100 plus hours a week. That's not work. The games aren't fun anymore, and only like a billionth of a percent of people make money on it. Well, that's because it's not fucking real anymore. It's not fucking something. John and Skully, what kind of we know some retards that are like, oh yeah, professional gamers.
Gamer.
When I used to professional game. Well, how come you don't fucking have anything, and how come you're not a fucking professional gamer? I am so fucking fed up with motherfuckers telling me shit, how they used to do shit, and how shit used to be, and how they can do things. But when it comes time to fucking do them, they can't fucking do any of them. Like, they can't even begin to fucking do them. Like, if you're a computer dude, you should know what basic fucking everyday computer fucking things mean. Like, I don't know what the fuck it was. I mean, just
you gotta know.
You're a guy, if you're so fucking awesome, and that's not you, Kentucky Rifleman, but if you're a fucking gamer, don't fucking walk in here and ask me for a job and tell me what an awesome fucking gamer you are. Go fucking game. If you even have a video console and you spend any of your free time video consoling, don't come in here and ask me for a fucking job. John and Skully, what kind of free toys would you put in specially marked cereal boxes? Pocket knife.
Pocket knife, yeah. I'm a big fan of like
SOE decoder ring.
SOE decoder ring, maybe a compass.
Ovaltine. Matches.
Matches.
Strike anywhere matches.
Real strike anywhere
Red
matches.
and white tip, not that bullshit green tip.
Yeah, some basic good survival stuff. A hatchet so they could go out and chop wood.
I like that.
That would have.
cereal.
That's like the big boxes.
You gotta collect all 5 boxes to get the hatchet.
To get the hatchet, yeah.
Skully, where's the best place to buy a real Strider knife?
From Strider Knives.
Or Blue Line Gear, or Monkey Edge.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with Blue Line, Ryan Johnson, or Monkey Edge.
Brady
Miller. You can't go wrong with either of those two. They're going to get you. You're going to be. Well, first off, they're going to have the newest shit, and second,
they're going to have real shit.
It's going to be it'll definitely be 100% real, and your price point is going to be at that market. You're not going to snoop around and find a fucking mixed Strider Damascus knife from cheaper anywhere else on the internet. So they're at the price point. So, and if anything, other good thing
they are. If Strider had master dealers,
they are.
That's them.
And the good thing about both Brady and Ryan is if something, you're out in the woods fucking changing a tire with your pocket knife, and the clip flies off into the woods, they will get that handled for you. So
they're both good dudes.
Yeah, they're both good dudes.
We have personally done business with them. Brady has got some stuff for me that was completely unobtainable. They've carried our products as well as we have done business with both of them. And fuck, Ryan is set up at fucking Blade Show with those. Well, he's set up at most of the shows with those guys. Invest in guns. They will always hold their value and increase. I have gotten some good deals on Arms List. I got a pre-brand 20-inch A2 Colt from a kid whose grandpa passed. I traded him an Anderson AR-15 with eBay shit bolted on it for $200 cash. That rifle is worth $1,500.
Yeah, prices don't go down unless they ban them. So once they ban them, then your street value.
Damn you, John. Damn you! Just got to the point where I don't want anything else. You go and show me Katanica. Just got a pair of Cargoids, and I love them. Ah,
Cargoids? What the fuck are
Cargoids?
What are Cargoids?
You just bought the beginner shit. Get the fucking range shorts. Bought Cargoids. That's like you wanted a fucking 4-wheel drive Toyota truck, so you just went and bought a fucking Prius. Actually, I bought a pair of Cargoids. They look like Officer Dangle. Like,
oh, they're a little short.
I want my shorts right at my kneecap, right? Those like are about 4 inches higher. They look like Ranger Dave would wear.
Ranger Dave, yeah.
They are perfect EDC and have very low tactical profile. They could pass as semi-dressy or just everyday wear. There's no goddamn thing as a fucking dress short. You don't see dress shorts.
And there's no such thing as tactical shorts.
That's like if your bitch is wearing a romper, you need to intervene. Your bitch shouldn't be wearing overalls unless she's painting or doing drywall, and the bitch should not be wearing a fucking romper. You can't even get to her fucking pussy in a romper. What the fuck? That's what your dress shorts are. Now that brings us to the range short. Jesus H. It's H. Jesus H. Not age. Jesus H. Christ. What does the H stand for? Hector?
I think so.
Jesus Hector Christ. Are those things kick ass or what? I plan to buy a pair when they release the runs of the gnarly camo pattern. They're on there right now. You should have saved your money. Between SOE and Katanica, looks like my discretionary income is gone. Damn it, shit, fuck. It's not supposed to feel this good to give money to other people. Keep rocking, guys. Appreciate the podcast.
You can't take any of that money with you.
Dude, thanks for choosing SOE. You will love the Katanica stuff for sure. Our belts fit in. Don't buy their bullshit belt. All of our belts fucking stomp their belt. We're not making shorts. Katanica's got nothing to worry about. We push them out. But Katanica should stop making fucking belts. Greg Roy. True facts from Vermont. In 1981, Bertie Sanders was elected the communist mayor of Burlington, Vermont. It was won by under 100 votes. It was won by under 100 votes from the welfare mamas that were bussed in from Brooklyn, New York. They were given bus tickets by social workers and promised eternal food stamps and free housing in Vermont. Now they have been breeding steadily for over 40 years and still vote Bernie for free stuff. Tacos and fries.
He's an actual communist. Like, card carrying. Like, for his birthday, he sang a Russian workers song. I mean, you know, I grew up in the 80s, and the whole mantra was "kill a commie for mommy." It's going to be interesting if he actually becomes a Democratic nominee. I think the Democrats are going to go after his ass though, because he's a little too crazy.
How do you motherfuckers come up with these fucking YouTube names? Tacos and French fries. Good stuff. I agree. You have to have a backup plan. By the way, I have had an SOE belt for about 3 years now. No issue. Great product. Thanks. Tacos and French fries. You keep eating tacos and French fries, you're going to outgrow that belt. Good news. $25. You send that belt in with $25, and we cut it apart and make it fatter for you. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Because maybe you've hit it. Maybe
he's on reverse keto.
Maybe if you just eat tacos and French fries, you'll lose weight.
Well, like you won't live long enough to gain weight. Skully, can you share a few stories from back in the Marines where you had a what the fuck moment? I like to drink at the Legion and talk about old vets. They have the best stories.
I mean, we had all kind. I've told a ton of them on these videos. It's just, I give you old Sergeant Major. I haven't told this one in a long time. Sergeant Major Booker story. So this is boot camp. So we're in boot camp, and there's a point where you leave There's a point where you leave, at least the old way. I think it's changed since then, but you would leave Camp Pendleton, and you would go up to SOI for like combat training.
School of Infantry.
Yeah, we'd go to the School of Infantry. We'd still be recruits, but it was like combat training. It really, you would. That was the one where you crawl into the barbed wire and they'd shoot the fake machine gun above you. I think we threw a grenade. Just some bullshit stuff to say that every Marine's a rifleman.
Real grenade or a trainer?
Real grenade. Well, you'd throw like 100 trainers, and then you would go up there and get to throw one grenade.
Anybody fuck that up?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. They don't in boot camp. They don't let you fuck around. Like in boot camp, you get there, you throw your grenade, and then you're down the hill. You don't get to like watch everybody throw grenades in case somebody does fuck up, because it happens. It happens occasionally. But so it's the first time the drill instructors. So the whole time you're in boot camp, the drill instructors are wearing fucking. They're wearing their Charlies. So it's tan and greens, right? They're in their Charlies. They got their campaign covers on. This is when you get to this portion of this phase of the training. They wear camis, and so we do the transition. We get up there and we're in the fucking squad bay, and Sergeant Major Booker is standing on a footlocker, and every fucking swinging dick is on the quarterdeck. So all 38 of us, I think there was 38 of us, all 38 of us are on the quarterdeck, and it's not that big. So everybody's standing like this, close to each other. And fucking Booker is yelling at everybody how fucked up we are because we lost the soap. We lost the fucking laundry soap. There was a box of laundry detergent that had disappeared, had gone away. And he's fucking, he's going off. And everybody's like, And so he's like, you got 10 seconds to find that fucking soap. Well, everybody starts, we're all on the quarterdeck. I'm looking at the ground. And I'm like, yeah, that's some stupid bullshit. I'm just moving, because everybody's there. Everybody's just bumping into each other looking for a fucking box of soap. And I'm just kind of moving forward, and there is a motherfucker standing right in front of me. Just standing right in front of me. And I still don't look up, and I reach up, and I grab me a handful of camis. Like I grab a handful of camis. Pockets. I just got pockets in my hand. And in a low voice, I'm like, who in the fuck is... Now, as soon as I got to 100%, because this person is not moving and not saying anything, as soon as I got to I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And so I let go the camis, and I'm trying to go to attention, and I hear Sergeant Major Booker, and he's like, who the fuck is this? And and so I can't do anything but just stand at attention and be like, oh man, he's gonna kill me. As soon as he finishes, now remember, we were all on the quarterdeck, bumping into each other, looking for the soap. As soon as he finishes, who the fuck is this? A fucking tumbleweed blows through the quarterdeck. There is not a single fucking Marine on the quarterdeck. Everybody has fucking abandoned ship. Like, you got recruits jumping out of windows. Everybody has fucking left. I am standing there by myself. Tumbleweed blows through. And I watch Sergeant Major Booker, and that fist crinkles up, and like in slow motion, it goes back through the bathroom, down the hall, out the fucking window on the other side of the building, and he just fucking brings it back and fucking punches me square in the chest. I thought he killed me. I literally flew like 10 feet in the air, like in the movies. Like, when they put the belt on you and they got the wire crew and they pull you?
You're last year.
I fly through the air, hit my feet, and I'm like, all I can do is go to tension again. And I'm still there by myself. And he's like, he comes down and he's like, you are so fucking lucky. I have something else to do right now. And I'm like, the whole rest of the day, all I could think of was, when he comes back, he's going to fuck me up anymore. But he didn't. He didn't. He's actually, you know, if you don't know Sergeant Major Booker, he is my hero. He is the fucking greatest Marine that the Marine Corps has ever put out. He's fucking awesome. I actually worked for him later on several times in the Marine Corps, and I wish I could have worked for him more when he was, you know, when he was a gunny and when he was a staff sergeant. I wish I would have had the opportunity to work more for him, because the knowledge and leadership that he could have gave me probably would have changed my whole course and career in the Marine Corps, because he's an awesome warrior.
Ed Maxwell, are you running the auger all the way down at once, then trying to clean out the hole? Or do you ease it in and out of the ground to clean out the hole a little at a time as you get closer to the depth? Thank you guys for the podcast, and thanks for the amazing gear. It could be an issue with lack of PTO control, because once we start to touch, it just there is not a... It's down and it's in and it's not coming out. It's a combination of earth problem, lack of tractor. I don't know, man.
The issue here is
this was a gravel pit.
It's all rock. So what happens is that bit gets, you know, you're running your RPMs and that bit gets to the ground and it immediately hits a rock on the side, which sucks it in a little harder. And then the RPMs start to slow down as you get down a little bit, because it sucked it in because it hit the rock, and then you have to fucking hand turn it out because the tractor can't bring it back out.
It literally will lift the tractor.
Yeah, lift the tractor off the ground.
We don't have enough tractor.
So doing that, you know, in a little bit, clearing out the dirt, it's just because it's all fucking rocks.
My dad broke his back years ago and was nothing but issues after, always in pain, but I think the biggest problem was letting the doctors keep cutting on him. Their answer for everything is cutting and pain meds. My dad passed away 6 months ago, and I put part of the blame on his doctors. Just keep an eye on your mom, Skully. Her back issue is no joke.
Yeah, they're not doing any cutting. We actually have a good friend that has had 2 back surgeries, and neither one of them are fucking interesting at all, in the sense of they fucking fillet you open. First time they went through the back.
Who are we talking
about? Hicks.
James?
Yeah, James. First time they went through the back, and it worked for like 15 minutes, a couple of weeks, and then it just started, his fucking back pain, his back problems started coming back again. And then they gutted him like a fish the second time and went all the way through the front. And it sounds like that's working now, but yeah, they fucking, any chance they can get, you just have to remember that if that's the guy's go-to, right? If you go to a specialist and his go-to, what he does is fucking fillet people open to get, that's what he's gonna fall back on. That's why it's really up to you.
Nobody's gonna have your best interest at hand.
Don't go if I say, hey man, I'm injecting this crazy stuff in my knee and it's fucking working. Don't just go, hey, doc, I want the crazy stuff. Do some research on your own. Figure out what people are saying about it, and make sure you're taking the right path for your particular problem. Doctors, 9 times out of 10, they're going, well, the reality is they're listening to your symptoms, so you're telling them, this is my problem. And then they're going to go into their wheelhouse of knowledge and go, okay, this is his problem, this is what I'm going to do. Now that wheelhouse of knowledge might be 20 years old. They might be talking about some surgical procedure that is really outdated, or, you know, maybe it's a modern one, or they're going to just be like, oh, I think it's this pill. You just need this pill. That's why every time you come back, if you get a new pill, when you come back, they're like, how are you feeling about that? Is it working out for you? Because when they give you a pill, they don't know if it's really going to work for you. They just know on average it works for your symptoms.
Plus with back shit, I don't know how it is now. Yeah, but when Dwayne Dwyer, Strider Knives, had back issues, there was a lot of talk. Are we going to go with the orthopedic surgeon, or are we going to go with the neurosurgeon to do this back surgery? Because there was 2 different thoughts and 2 different procedures as well. If you want to see what Jeff was just talking about, Brian Deegan, Metal Militia, he's got a video out the hard way. It's old. We knew them guys. Brian Deegan the hard way, look that up on YouTube. You will see his actual surgery where they had his organs laid out. They literally cut you open and lay all of your organs out to get to your spine from the front. So if you want to see that, there's some footage of it in that video. John Skully, thanks. I found it. I found it, Scully. I found the shitty U.S. Air Force Inn. It's in Lockhurst, New Jersey. I thought it never happened. John and Scully, thank you for all your great gear. I'm loving the Cock Force shirt. That's
my favorite one.
Is it really?
Yeah, I love it. It's fucking.
Do you have one?
No, because you don't give me black shirts
That's
anymore.
because when I said, do you? Somebody said, do you want this? You're like, fuck no. I have enough black shirts.
That's not.
Yeah, I did. I even said, hey,
That's
there's
not
500 shirts on that table. Take the ones you want before I give them to somebody I don't like.
And I did. I took some shirts out of there.
And you're like, well, I don't need any. That's all I have.
I took shirts out of there.
I don't need any more fucking black shirts.
I took shirts out of there, but this is Cock Force. It's kind of like the MP5 one. That one's cool too.
What are your thoughts and opinions on the Philadelphia experiment? Any inside info? Do you think the shortcomings of the railgun, needing extreme amounts of power, will be mitigated by the new Ford-class aircraft carrier's nuclear power? Do you guys have a trusted diesel truck mechanic looking to keep my money in good circles? Fuck, there's a lot of them.
There's
Just start answering, then I'll read the rest of
them. Cock Force shirt, I love it. Let's see, shortcomings of the
Philadelphia experiment.
Philadelphia experiment.
Something fucking happened.
Something weird happened, but probably not what we think happened, because if you're talking 1945, if they really could do something crazy like that, we'd be doing it all the time now. We'd be fucking teleporting over into fucking Korea going, ha-ha, motherfucker, and then teleporting back. So, probably not what we think, because here's the thing. Remember, I told you this with the medical thing, is like John, PhD John's like, I'm going to find a cure for cancer, and he does all this work to find a cure for cancer, and then he's like, oh my God, I didn't cure cancer, but I have this new medicine for athlete's foot. It's always an accident. So maybe the Philadelphia experiment led to something else that we don't even know about. The shortcomings with the fucking railgun is not just, it's not just power consumption, but it's path of flight. So the faster you can move your projectile, the more shit it will go through, right? So that's why they can take the railgun, they can make that they can put a brick in there, a real brick, and they can shoot it at fucking, I don't even know what speed it's going, but it's supersonic speed, and that brick will have enough energy to go through a fucking tank. It'll be dust on the other side, but it will all have gone through the tank. It's because of the speed. But when you increase that speed, you also create a trajectory problem. So it makes sense for the Army to have a railgun. It doesn't make sense for the Navy to have a railgun, because the Navy's doing everything over the horizon. So I kind of don't understand why the Navy is the lead for this. But maybe it's just because the Navy has the money to do crazy shit like that. Because now you're gonna have a ship that has a weapon system on it that has to come over the horizon to effectively use that weapon to engage targets. In theory, I may be completely wrong, but they're not. They're definitely not going to put it on an aircraft carrier. They got airplanes on there. Nuclear power could be the issue. Nuclear power could help with that, with the power issue. But I mean, they're fielding a ship. There's a ship that's being built right now that's going to have a railgun on it. So we will see that out at sea, eventually.
Do we have a trusted diesel mechanic?
No, we do not.
We don't.
Not a real diesel mechanic. Meaning not a
Rappaport did our shit and did a fucking awesome job with it, but we don't have somebody that you guys can go to. We don't have like a diesel shop here. It doesn't exist. We actually need a diesel shop if in Nashville or Jackson or somewhere within 100 miles of here. If you know where that's at, we need to know. We had some dudes that were doing it, but they broke their shop up. Now the dude's at his house. Like, I need an actual diesel shop where I can drop my shit off and have a fucking warranty, and a dude's be like, okay, come back in 5 days and your shit will be ready.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to bring my truck to you and it's going to sit in your parking lot for 2 fucking months before you touch it, I might as well have my fucking truck sit here. Do you guys have a trusted diesel mechanic keeping money in the circles? After getting great gear from you guys, and my first special order being fucking amazing. Is there a chance in the future of seasonal collections like you are advertising on your website? We don't. The honest answer is, like, we don't just, here's your shit, buy it when you can buy it. When you guys, we don't have that shit planned. Like, Amanda's been telling me for 2 fucking weeks, Easter weekend's coming, think of what we're gonna do. We decided what we were gonna do last night in bed at fucking 11 o'clock at night.
And that's and from my perspective, that's pre-planning right there. John did some pre-planning. Usually, it'll be like, we're doing an Easter sale. They're gonna get a thing. What's the
and
thing?
usually it's 2 days after Easter.
I'm gonna be like, what's the thing, John? He'll be like, I'm gonna work it out. It's just gonna be this thing.
It depends on if we get 400 orders or 5,000.
So that's a good plan. If he figured it out last night, then we are way ahead of the power curve.
When you open the special order thread on Facebook, can I special order a copper rig? Yes, if we order that back up. It is my favorite. I think I'm looking forward to more. It is my favorite. I think I'm looking forward to more great gear. Thank you again. Also, are you listening or watching this and you doubt that if you are listening or watching this, you doubt SOE or these guys are legit, you were fooling yourself. Best belts I have ever owned. Everyone at SOE is amazing. The gear is amazing, and they are great to visit. Camden is tiny but comfortable. I have not had any problems there in any of my visits. Now, you guys won't have any problems.
No, definitely.
But if you come here to take attack response class and you bring your chick, take her to class. Like, she needs to be in class. She's not gonna sit at the pool. Like the last dude that came here, his chick is a cop and not taking the class, and she's like, I'm just gonna kick it at the pool. I'm like, you're not. I'm telling you, the pool is not. Like, you couldn't put 5 people in the pool. And sure as shit, the pool wasn't even open. Buy gear, get training, then buy more gear. Eat a dick, turd burglars, fucking haters. Unless they make SOE money, the conflict will pay shit. Wish I could win the lotto so I could buy the hotel down the street, remodel it, and rent the rooms for tactical response student, and so I could experience the great work and knowledge of SOE crew more often. We have fucking tossed around the idea of the fucking hotel. I drove past there today on the way to the snake trailer, and the fucking one of the doors is kicked wide open.
Oh yeah, people are. It's a known entity now.
Man, it might be better off fucking tearing that down and building it over at this point. Like, it's raining down. The roof is fucking caved in, and I flew the drone over. The roof has several collapses in it, which means it's raining down to from the second floor to the first floor also. The windows are busted out. AC's kicked out because there's fucking people and animals living in there. The missiles that the Russians and China, and yes, us, are using are so lethal that your bunker will not save you at all. Consider for a second that all 3 countries also utilize nuclear subs that could sit off the coastline with supersonic and hypersonic warheads. Nobody could have time to react to that kind of shit. What's the difference between super and hypersonic?
Well, a supersonic and a hypersonic. So a supersonic and a hypersonic missile. These are missiles that don't require to exit the atmosphere and come. So like when we fire an ICBM, an interconic ballistic missile, basically what we're doing is shooting it up into space.
Got it.
And that trajectory will bring it down in Russia. What they're talking about is a missile that pops out of the submarine and flies right to your house. So
surprise, cockpit.
Yeah, surprise. Basically surprise. So if I fire an ICBM at Russia,
they know it's coming.
They know it's coming because they're going to get. They will get a fucking launch notification. Meaning, the minute that missile comes out of the tube, they get a launch notification from their satellites. So that gives them a window of opportunity. Basically, they'll have a window of opportunity to go, okay, we got about 30 minutes till these ICBMs get here. Let's fire all ICBMs. Well, if you didn't want to give if you didn't want to give your enemy an opportunity, you would hit all their infrastructure shit with a missile that does not leave the atmosphere.
Well, what's the difference between supersonic and hypersonic?
Just the speed. The hypersonic is so much.
Super P. You want to keep reading? You want to talk about this?
The supersonic is so much. The hypersonic, I'm sorry, is so much faster. So, I mean, when you're talking about nuclear war, it's not like the old days, 1950, where you could duck and cover and all that stuff. if they have targeted your city, so if they have targeted your city because you live in Oceanside and Camp Pendleton is there, and the Russians actually target your city, there's no going down to the bunker. You're fucking. That's it. You're done. You might as well go outside, put your sunglasses on, sit on the beach, and wait for that warhead to get in there. Now, where your bunkers come in handy is if you are outside the radius of the actual. If you're outside of the radius of the actual detonation. So, for example, if they target Camp Pendleton and you live on the far side of San Bernardino, then a bunker will be helpful. But it just depends on how crazy we get. The theory is there's going to be a point where somebody's going to be like, this is madness, we need to stop. But the reality is if we go toe to toe with the Russians, the amount of missiles that will go airborne will destroy the world 3 times over. It won't matter where you're at on the planet. The radiation from those missiles are going to kill you anyways. And if you believe the hype from the 60s, the Tsar bomb, the Russians have a bomb that will kill the planet. Who knows if that thing is still viable? But they basically built a ship. They built a ship the size of a fucking aircraft carrier that was nothing but a nuclear bomb, with the purpose of saying, if you somehow take out the Soviet Union, this bomb will destroy the world, and you won't be able to do anything. There's no winners if you destroy the world.
Was it ever tested?
No, the Tsar bomb was actually tested, and it was the biggest nuclear explosion ever. And this thing is supposed to be 10 times bigger than the Tsar bomb.
Where is it?
It was around in the 60s. It was on a ship. So the question is, does it still exist? It might not exist anymore because, the fucking maintenance on that shit alone is ridiculous.
The missiles that Russian... we did that one.
You did on the whole one already.
Got my micro rig in Marpat today. It's kick-ass, like everything you guys make. Keep it up. Jason, man, glad you love it. I think we've still got a couple sitting out there. If anybody wants one, we can ship it to you tomorrow. Whenever you hear this, if it's online and you can order that Marpat rig. As we're building stuff, we have locked and limited the majority of the website. That doesn't mean that you're going to order something and it's always going to ship tomorrow. 80% of it is shipping same next day. We still have some shit on there that's wide open. If you order something that we tell you we have and you add a bunch of other shit with it, it's probably not shipping. Like, if you really are worried about getting your shit fast and you see something you super want, order that motherfucker by itself. Or put some shit in there like a shirt. The shirts are almost always fucking, we have them. If we don't, we just refund you right then and ship it. But if you order some random fucking pistol mags and light pouches and little shit, a lot of the $50 and under shit is wide open on the website because we build it all the time. You might wait a week or so to get it. Toiletry bags, you can order it whether we have it or not. We build them all the time. Day packs, some of the day packs, a couple of the colors that just didn't sell well, those are locked. Other day packs that we run all the time, you can order it. We might not have it, but you'll get it in a week or so. Like, we're building them all the time. We don't have Typhon right now. We got a lot of orders for Typhon. We built them just like 3 weeks ago. We're building Typhon right now. Amanda just found, if you have a Typhon red thread backpack on order or a Typhon royal blue, they just found some fucking bins back there that somebody who no longer works here had cut, had his name on them and shit. Has partial built pieces with the fucking orders, and they were never addressed. So they're cutting those. Yeah. Those are being cut right now tonight.
My suggestion is, take it easy with the Marpat. That's a big responsibility to just go out there and get a Marpat rig like that. You might want to start with a toiletry bag or maybe a coffee bag, because that's a big responsibility. It's like having a gremlin in your house. There's some rules. Don't just, don't start feeding that after midnight. The Marpat will get drunk whenever it wants, so you got to keep an eye on it. And if you're putting mags in it, then that escalates the threat of some sort of violence happening. So just keep an eye on it. You have to. It's like having a pit bull. You got to train it right, or you might have a problem with it. So I suggest,
What the fuck did you just say? Start over?
I just suggested that don't go straight for a micro rig. You might want to get a coffee. You might want to get the coffee bag in Marpat, or maybe the toiletry bag in Marpat. Something a little more.
Marpat's more fast act.
Yeah, something a little more controllable than just going right to a fucking rig, because shit could get out of control really quick. You gotta be able to, it's
Gotcha.
it's like a thing. You can't just go right into Marpat.
This one's actually interesting.
Oh, what do we got?
Ongoing discussion of drug use in the podcast. I just read a small study on surgeries for daily cannabis users. Those who smoked or ingested cannabis on a daily or weekly basis required 14% more fentanyl, 20% more midazolam, and 220% more propofol to achieve optimum sedation routine procedures like colonoscopies. Wow.
Yeah,
they're building up a tolerance to...
So that's the thing about...
So would that be the same for hemp products and CBD products?
I don't know.
I would assume it would be.
I don't know, yeah. Any narcotic that you are taking on the down low, marijuana, it's considered a narcotic, but if you're smoking marijuana all the time, you are going to be building up a tolerance for pain-killing things that they are going to use in the hospital. It's just like the guys, like if you listen to Joe Rogan talk about the pot they smoke, on the pot scale, we were smoking 1 and 2 pot in the 60s. Now pot's up to 20 and shit. It's like high up there with the THC. So you have people that are becoming more and more tolerant just to the marijuana they're smoking. And if you were able to smoke high doses of this crazy ass high dosed marijuana, yeah, there's a good chance you're gonna go and you get your colonoscopy and you're gonna be like, what the fuck, man? That hurts like shit. So I mean, just something to think about.
Yeah, good point. Fuck, I don't even take Advil or I don't know. Dorian Yates had a good thing about smoking weed on London Real. If you guys haven't heard that, London Real, find that one with Dorian Yates. I think he's been on there 3 times. Every one of them's worth a listen. But he was saying, he became addicted to it, and he was just, I don't remember what he said, but it's fucking worth listening to. He said basically, I just used enough to calm me and put me where I needed to be. It wasn't, he said I was chasing it every day. I was getting up and it's the first thing I was going to.
Chances are, when you get out of your bed, if there is something that you immediately have to do,
like your cell phone.
Yeah, cell phone. You got to smoke a cigarette.
Have
you got to
some
smoke
bourbon.
some weed. You got to grab some bourbon. You got to grab 2 of these out of the Pepsi and put them, or 2 of these out of the refrigerator and put them in the car so you can drink them before you get to work. It's probably not good for you.
Hey guys, I want to thank you again for helping me out with the shipping bullshit from Friday with my 2 shirts and Rats Tourniquet. Order 144928. I greatly appreciate you and the crew for going above and beyond and taking time out of your day to make it happen. I also hope it wasn't a clusterfuck. It's almost always a clusterfuck. Prime example of badass customer service you guys provided. The bullshit you do not tolerate from other customers being little bitches and firing customers helps things like this happen. I will not spend my money for this kind of gear anywhere else. Keep up the real shit. You, Skully, and the crew are awesome. Dude, thanks. It is always a fucking hassle. The easiest remedy generally is to cancel the order, because a lot of times, by the time I see your email, or by the time you get around to sending an email, that order has already been pulled, put in a box. Whoever's shipping it's on the way to shipping. So literally many times while we've been scurrying around trying to figure out where in the process this is, that motherfucker will ship. So now we've got to go back, cancel the shipping, whatever. We got it handled. Glad it worked out. Chances are you contacted Amanda or myself. Chances are I'm the one that replied to you. Jeff probably found your order, or I found the order. I have no idea what that was, but I'm glad that it worked out. We definitely do fucking try, man. And we haven't had a customer firing in a long fucking time, at least not one you've heard about.
No, we haven't.
It's funny people still talk about that like it's a daily occurrence.
We fired some people off of this, though.
We have fired
off the podcast.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't fire him.
You didn't?
I forgot
Oh,
to.
we still have Grey
And
Wolf
he-
out there?
and
Hey,
he
Grey
is-
Wolf, keep it up,
I
man.
did not see any comments.
Damn it, Grey Wolf!
I
Come
did
on,
not
give me
see a
something.
comment.
Give me a walking through the sand with Jesus. Something.
Next one. This is yesterday's podcast. FedEx in Memphis has buses that drive into the Delta of Mississippi and transport workers to the hub every night, then home again in the morning for $13 to $15 an hour jobs. Of course, we have tons of people who can't get no job living in Memphis and surrounding areas. I can easily see why you have labor problems. We do.
There's some sort of, that's the
It's
issue.
in the water.
Well, it's the issue of the support system. There is some sort of support system that they are getting that makes them not get a job. If you got if you're driving around in a car and you got a cell phone and you have power at your house and the water's turned on, there are people that's good enough. They'll live in that fucking trailer and, as long as they can get Twinkies and smokes, they're fine. And that is the problem. The problem is we have set up this fucking socialist support system that rewards people for not going to work. I'm not saying there shouldn't be a net. There should be a safety net. There should be something out there so when you fucking lose your job or you fucking something happens to you, there should be a safety net. But it should be a net, not a fucking hammock to live in the rest of your life.
And that doesn't come to a motherfucker who's never had a job. That's for a dude that falls on hard times. You have to have put into that or your family. Welfare used to be family and church, the village. It was not fucking government funded fucking welfare. You want something, you have to have fucking done something. You don't get a reward. You're not a fucking hero unless you do fucking hero shit. You don't deserve shit if you haven't done anything. Spirit Code talked about that today. Helicopter moms, always hovering around, right? Now they call them steam shovel moms or snowplow moms or something. You have fucking 25 and 30-year-old adults. Mom is still making fucking doctor's appointment. Mom is still calling the job and going, hey, my son's kind of had a hard day. He's having a hard time at work. Can you, maybe take it easy on him or send him home early? Are you fucking kidding me? I'd go home and smack my fucking mom in the head with a baseball bat if she did that shit. That is a problem with mom as well as the kid. The kid can't set boundaries and mom is still taking care of all his shit. That's why we have the fucking problem we have today. Because nobody whipped their kids. Nobody made their kids do shit. Nothing fucking happened.
And when you're thinking about
there's not been a punishment. They haven't had to fucking earn anything.
And when you're thinking about social safety nets and people who take care of each other and things like that, and you hear Bernie Sanders talking about how the government, the government's going to give you a check, the government's going to give you health care, the government, blah, 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 government. He just released his tax returns. So he released 10 years of tax returns. Charitable deductions from Bernie Sanders were less than 3%. Less than 3% of charitable deductions. Mitt Romney released his tax returns. Him and his wife give 33% of their overall income.
Is he Mormon?
He is Mormon.
There you go.
Charitable deductions. But we hate Mitt Romney because he's a Republican, but he does more for people in need than Bernie Sanders does for anybody. Like I'm sure his kids hate him because I'll bet he doesn't give them a nickel. And don't forget, when you're making these decisions, Bernie Sanders is part of the 1%. He's never worked a fucking day in his life.
I was just watching episode 53. I'm dying laughing about Scully's impersonation of Sergeant Major Terry. Just mentioned making a cartoon of it. That would be epic. John mentioned making a cartoon. It could include characters from Scully's stories, i.e. Sergeant Major Booker.
Booker's too big for a cartoon.
Hey guys, John, I know you built damn near everything at one point or another. I was wondering if you ever made an elastic dog leash or a dog harness. Thanks always for what you guys do. Bungee single point sling. I have some dog leashes we made that are bungee slings. They have two links of bungee inside, just like our slings do, sewn independently. So if somehow one failed, there's a secondary in there. We've made them. We've never put them out to market. I just didn't see a need for them. I've seen them out there. I've seen them at REI. REI had some type of bungee sling. But there might as well just been a fucking thin piece of elastic in there. It didn't really do shit. Are you having a hard time controlling the dog, or is it elbow problems? What's your application for that? Yes, we can do it. We just haven't ever had anybody ask for it before. I've got some of them here that I built, just fucking around with them when we were in the other building. We just never brought them to market. Speaking of gun shows, you guys should check out the Wanamaker's Tulsa Arms Show in Tulsa, Oklahoma, November 9th through 10th, 2019. 4,200 tables in
I'll save some money.
In one 11-acre room. I've been a few times, and definitely the coolest gun show I've attended. Do you do an SOE table at any shows? We do not do an SOE table, especially at a gun show.
Especially a gun show.
Keep up the good work, guys. Love the podcast. I'm self-employed. I drive 400 miles per day, delivering biological specimens and money for hospitals and medical clinics. This podcast is awesome when you have a lot of miles to log and nothing decent to listen to. Again, thank you guys for the motivation to work better.
What kind of biological specimens are you delivering?
Ryan Fowler, man, listen to the Survival Podcast. Listen to the EMF CEO Podcast. Listen to the Revolution Sean Whalen Podcast. And if you've expired all those and used all of those, check out Aaron Mankey's Lore. Those are the podcasts. I also check out Dangerous History Podcast. Check that out too. In response to podcast 84, you'd asked what porn I like. If it involves big ass, trailer parks, or white trash as keywords, I'm on it. Good day, sir. That's right, because it's filthy. Exactly. The dirtier the better. I want to see the porn that what's that crazy queen's name?
Oh God.
She died fucking a horse.
Yeah. It's going to be all drawings. It's just going to be sketches of her.
Stopgap animation.
Yeah, stopgap
Claymation
of her having sex with a horse.
Giving her the horse cock. Right on. Right, if you're using CBD, just smoke some real weed, and that will help with pain. Get weed with high CBD and low THC. If you don't want to get high, if you don't smoke, then make butter with it and eat it on toast. Whatever you do, don't worry about it, because it's better than anything the doc can give you. Good luck for that pain. Been there. In my opinion, the movie Book of Eli is a realistic view of what the U.S. could look like after a real civil war. Just ignore all the shit at the end. I like that movie.
Yeah, I did like that movie.
Great.
And that was the thing you don't...
Or The Road.
The thing you don't understand in the Book of Eli, unless you're really paying attention, is it wasn't a civil war. It was a nuclear war. So that was what was left of the United States after a nuclear exchange with the Russians or the Chinese. It could have been the Chinese, but yeah, that's a great book, and there's a ton of stuff in there that if you don't, there's a lot of symbolism. So if you don't pay attention to the symbolism of it all, you'll miss some things. But that is a great movie.
Truth be motherfucking told, I believe 503 is either SOE using numbers like an old pager, school pager. Or you're paying tribute to my hometown of Mactown, Oregon. Bam! I guess that's where 503 is.
Yeah, and that is exactly, you've got it. Mactown, Oregon, you're the winner.
Ding,
that's
ding,
exactly
ding, ding.
what it was for.
Liberty Chick.
Oh, Liberty Chick.
My husband tried the CBD gummies with hemp extract oil. He has nerve damage and his hands go numb and stick. I was helping him. I have that too, but it's called carpal tunnel. But my hands go numb all the time.
Could have been from the 95-pound ammo can you dropped on your hand.
That was this one.
Oh.
And stick. I was helping him get dressed, tie his shoes, everything, because he couldn't hold on to things and his hands just wouldn't work. 3 days after him taking them, he could move. He got up and got dressed by himself, then woke me, and I was amazed. You're right, though. That what works for him may not work for someone else, but thought I'd mention it. We also buy from the same OhioCBDguy.com every time. It also says take 1 to 2 a day, and he only takes 1. Each piece is 25 milligrams. and hasn't failed a drug test for work or doc. Awesome podcast, guys, as always. Right on.
Well, that's good that you're able to find something that helps you. That's the key for any of this stuff. No matter what the drug is, it's just finding something that works for you. Since I've been here in Tennessee, I've used probably 4 different diabetes medications, and it's just always what's going to get those numbers at the right place.
How many are you on right now?
I'm still taking the same amount.
How many different ones?
3.
I thought you were off of them.
No. I'm off of the injections. I don't do the injections anymore. Just pills.
My husband, funny story. I remember hearing Paul Markel. Paul, what's up, Paul? Regarding horses in the military. Chris, I know you're not Paul. I do know Paul. When using artillery, part of the firing procedure involved 2 guys running to the front of the vehicle and just stand there. It doesn't have any point or purpose in firing the artillery. It was actually a holdover from when horses pulled the cannons. They had to have 2 guys hold the horses before firing, so they didn't run off.
Yeah, that's that crazy stuff that the military does that you're like, now that probably was a joke, like go get Flightline. They probably were like, hey, you got to go stand in front of the thing to hold the horses.
Chem light batteries.
Yeah, chem light batteries or anything like that. It was probably a joke. But there are tons of things that we do in the military that is a holdover from something in the past that has no relevance today. It's just that the turnover is so high that it's that whole, you fall into that whole situation of like, well, we've always done it like that. Why wouldn't we do it like that?
Hiding in plain sight on a Marine Corps base. Pro tip: my favorite piece of gear was the Air Force PT shirt. I'd rock that around base in flip-flops and no shave to the momentary delight of many a lifer. The cries of "Hey, devil dog! Oh, airman, my mistake!" were music to my nasty ears.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. That is a pro tip right there. I wish I'd have heard that when I was in. I'd have tried that shit.
Something that piques my interest on the topic of lost accent secrets. I think a problem would be planetary shift. Maybe the pyramids or Stonehenge actually do something, but today they are literally X miles away from where they were when they were built. A lot of people say these structures are built on ley lines. I've heard that.
Yeah.
So what? Unless the locations of the structure matter in comparison to cosmic stuff, I'm not qualified to talk about. Food for thought. We'll stop there. We're almost 2 hours.
Ooh, good time.
And I'm fucking
Whoa,
hungry.
wait, what is that? Who's that?
Sergeant Colonel Major. You want me to read it?
No. We'll save that for.
It's gonna be
stupid,
boot
Sergeant
camp.
Colonel Major. All right, guys, that was a good little podcast there. We will see you tomorrow. John's got to eat, and I got to go home. Talk to you later.
You need a snack?
No.